7 polo shirts with price tags that have nothing to do with what is inside them. No sponsored opinions, no brand loyalty, just the fabric weight, the manufacturing cost, the markup, and the honest truth about what you are actually paying for. Number 7. Tommy Hilfiger. A standard Tommy Hilfiger polo retails between $70 and $95. The fabric is a 200 to 220 gram cotton piqué, a mid-weight construction that is standard across the mass market polo category. The landed manufacturing cost, including fabric, labor, trims, and freight from contracted facilities in Bangladesh and Vietnam, runs between $7 and $11 per unit. PVH Corporation, which owns Tommy Hilfiger, reported a gross margin of 59% across the portfolio in its most recent filings. On an $80 polo, less than $33 went into the garment. The remaining $47 covered marketing, retail infrastructure, and brand overhead. The construction details confirm the cost structure. The piqué fabric is a standard open-knit cotton with a surface texture that looks clean in the store and begins to snag and distort at the weave intersections within 6 to 12 months of regular washing. The placket, the button strip running down the front of the shirt, is fused rather than sewn with an internal support structure, meaning it curls and loses its flat appearance after repeated wash cycles. The collar rolls within the first season because the interlining supporting it is a lightweight fusible rather than a woven canvas that would hold its shape independently. At $80, you are paying for a polo that looks like a polo for approximately 1 year, and then looks like a polo that has been through too many wash cycles for the rest of its life. Number 6. Calvin Klein. Calvin Klein polos retail between $80 and $120. Like Tommy Hilfiger, this brand sits inside the PVH Corporation portfolio and shares manufacturing infrastructure, sourcing relationships, and in many cases, the same contracted production facilities in Bangladesh and Vietnam. The fabric specification is nearly identical to the Tommy Hilfiger line, a 200 to 220 gram cotton or cotton modal piqué at mid-market quality. PVH's 59% gross margin applies across both brands. The only structural difference between a $90 Calvin Klein polo and a $75 Tommy Hilfiger polo from the same corporate stable is the label stitched inside the collar and the marketing budget allocated to each brand tier. The Calvin Klein Premium exists entirely at the brand positioning level. There is no material upgrade, no construction improvement, and no supply chain difference that justifies the additional $15 to $30 over the equivalent Tommy Hilfiger product. The specific failure points are identical. Fused placket, lightweight collar interlining that rolls with washing, piqué surface that snags at the weave intersections under friction. Calvin Klein adds a minimalist aesthetic to the branding and charges more for the same outcome. In terms of what you are wearing, this is the definition of paying for a story rather than a shirt. Number 5. Lacoste. Lacoste is the brand most men point to when they want to justify spending real money on a polo. The crocodile has enough heritage and enough genuine association with quality tennis and sport culture from its early decades that the premium feels earned. The current product does not earn it. A Lacoste polo retails between $98 and $145. The manufacturing cost runs between $4.50 and $14 depending on the country of production, and that range is itself the first problem. Lacoste sources from at least 8 different countries simultaneously, each operating to its own standards for fabric weight, stitching tension, and finishing quality. The piqué fabric weight varies measurably between production origins. A polo made in Peru will have a different hand feel, different surface density, and different durability profile than one made in Morocco or Bangladesh, but both carry the same price tag and the same crocodile. Mouse Frères, the parent company, captures the margin from this inconsistency by banking on brand recognition overriding quality inspection at the point of purchase. The result is that 2 Lacoste polos bought on the same day for the same $120 may have been produced to different specifications in different facilities. One might hold up reasonably well, the other might pill after 4 washes. You will not know which one you bought until it is too late to return it. The original L.12.12 polo, introduced in 1933, was built from a heavyweight petit piqué cotton that René Lacoste developed specifically for performance durability on the tennis court. The current L.12.12 uses a lighter PK at a lower gram weight than the original specification. The heritage is real. The current product is a commercial echo of it. Number 4, Ralph Lauren Polo. Ralph Lauren's polo shirt is one of the most purchased men's garments in the world, and one of the most studied examples of logo-driven pricing operating at industrial scale. The standard polo Ralph Lauren polo retails between $98 and $135. The fabric is a 200 to 240 gram cotton mesh or PK, a mid-grade specification sourced from contracted facilities in Peru, Sri Lanka, and Bangladesh. Ralph Lauren's gross margin for fiscal year 2025 was 68.6%. On a $120 polo, less than $38 went into making the shirt. The polo pony embroidered on the chest accounts for a meaningful share of that production cost given the embroidery complexity, which makes the actual fabric and construction investment even smaller than the overall cost of goods suggests. The fit is well established and consistent across production runs, which is a genuine operational achievement at this volume. But the fabric is standard. The construction is mid-market. The collar interlining is a lightweight fusible that rolls within the first season of regular washing. The placket is fused. The hem reinforcement is minimal. These are not defects. They are cost decisions made at the design stage to maintain margin at a price point calibrated for maximum volume. Ralph Lauren's Purple Label Polo, which uses a significantly heavier PK and a fully constructed placket with woven canvas interlining, retails for $295 to $395 and represents what the brand is capable of producing when the cost of goods is allowed to reflect the quality. The standard polo line is not that product. It is a mid-market shirt sold at a premium sustained entirely by one of the most effective brand-building operations in the history of fashion. Number 3, Versace. A Versace polo retails between $350 and $600. The fabric is a standard 200 to 230 gram cotton PK finished in licensed production facilities. The Medusa embroidery, or the Versace branding, applied to the chest and placket adds $20 to $35 to the cost of goods. Total manufacturing cost, including fabric, labor, branding application, and freight, runs between $25 and $55. The markup from production cost to retail is 8 to 12 times. Capri Holdings manages Versace's manufacturing through licensed contractors with production spread across Eastern Europe and Asia depending on the product tier. There is no Italian production story attached to the polo line. The fabric is not from a distinguished Italian mill. The construction is not executed by craftsmen with a specific connection to Neapolitan or Milanese tailoring traditions. It is a standard commercial PK polo with a Medusa on the chest, produced to the same quality controls as mid-market casual wear and priced as though the logo changes the physics of the fabric underneath it. It does not. At $400, you are buying the right to wear a gold Medusa on your chest. The polo beneath it would retail for $40 under a different name. Number 2, Gucci. A Gucci polo retails between $450 and $850. The fabric is a 210 to 240 gram cotton PK sourced from Italian mills, which is a genuine material quality point. Italian mill cotton PK is produced to a higher consistency standard than mass market sourcing, and the surface quality is measurably better than the commercial PK used by the brands ranked below it on this list. That honest concession made, the cost of goods on a Gucci polo, including Italian mill fabric, the embroidered double G or interlocking logo detailing, and the production labor runs between $30 and $65. The markup from production to retail sits at 10 to 18 times depending on the style. Kering, Gucci's parent company, posted a gross margin above 70% for years running on this formula. The Italian fabric sourcing is real. It adds genuine quality at the material level that the brands below Gucci on this list do not offer. But it does not add $400 to $700 of value over a well-built mid-market polo from a transparent brand. A Sunspell polo using Sea Island cotton, one of the rarest long staple cotton varieties in the world. Retails for $175 and uses fiber that outperforms Italian mill standard PK on every measurable durability and hand feel metric. The Gucci Premium above that is pure logo. Number 1, Brunello Cucinelli. Brunello Cucinelli sits at the top of this list because it represents the most expensive and most sophisticated version of the disconnect between price and product in the Polo category. The brand has constructed one of the most effective ethical luxury narratives in fashion, centered on the Solomeo village in Umbria, where the company is headquartered, the philosophy of humanistic capitalism articulated by its founder, and a commitment to worker dignity that generates significant positive press coverage. That narrative is genuine in many of its specifics. It is also doing enormous financial work. A Brunello Cucinelli polo retails between $650 and $1,200. The fabric is a high-grade cotton or cotton silk piqué sourced from premium Italian mills. The material quality is real and measurably better than the commercial piqué used by brands lower on this list. Brunello Cucinelli's cost of goods is higher than Gucci or Versace because the brand genuinely spends more on fabric and because its Italian production carries a labor cost that contracted Asian or Eastern European manufacturing does not. Industry estimates for the cost of goods on a Brunello Cucinelli polo run between $80 and $160, a significantly higher production investment than any other brand on this list. The gross margin the brand operates on sits around 65 to 68%, lower than Kering's or PVH's luxury tier margins, which reflects that genuine production cost difference. But here is the number that matters. At $900 retail, with a cost of goods around $120, the markup is still 7.5 times the production cost. The humanistic capitalism narrative, the Umbrian village, the worker wellness program, the philosophy books Cucinelli publishes, all of it is funded by a margin structure that the product's material quality, while genuinely good, cannot independently justify. The honest version of what you are paying for at $900 for a Brunello Cucinelli polo is approximately $120 to $160 of real material and labor quality, and $740 to $780 of brand narrative, retail environment, and the cultural signal that the name carries in certain rooms. That signal is real. The people in those rooms recognize it, and it communicates something specific about the wearer. But it is a social tool, not a fabric upgrade. A Sunspell Sea Island polo at $175 uses rarer fiber and better base construction than the standard Brunello Cucinelli cotton piqué. A Fedeli polo built in Italy from the same premium mill sources Cucinelli uses retails for $280 to $380 and delivers equivalent material quality without the village mythology priced into every stitch. Brunello Cucinelli ranks first on this list not because the product is bad, it is the best product on the list. It ranks first because the gap between what the quality is worth and what the brand charges for it is proportionally the hardest to justify once you know where else that material quality is available and what those alternatives charge for it. At $900, you are paying for access to a story, a very well-told, carefully maintained, genuinely appealing story. But a story nonetheless. 7 polos. Combined retail value of over $3,400 if you bought one of each. The combined cost to manufacture all 7 sits below $550. That $2,850 gap is not craftsmanship. It is not fiber quality. It is the cost of brand machinery, margin stacking, and the psychological premium that a logo commands when enough people agree it means something. Here's what that costs over time. The average man buys 3 to 4 polos a year and replaces each one every 2 to 3 years. If you spend $120 on a brand premium polo every 2 years from age 25 to 65, you spend $2,400 on polos across your adult life and spend most of that time in shirts with rolled collars, fused plackets, and pilling piqué. If you spend $175 on a polo with genuine Sea Island cotton or a comparable premium construction every 4 to 5 years because the shirt actually lasts, you spend under $1,400 for the same 40 years and wear a better shirt every day of it. The polo shirt was invented as a performance garment. René Lacoste designed the original L.12.12 in 1933 to solve a specific problem. Tennis players needed a shirt that moved, breathed, and held up under athletic conditions. The original was heavyweight piqué, fully constructed, built to perform. Every brand on this list has taken that origin story and used it to sell a lighter, cheaper, faster to produce version of the original at prices the original would have justified, and the current products do not. The best polo you can buy is almost certainly not on this list. It is made by a brand that does not spend $80 million a year reminding you it exists. It uses a fabric spec the brand publishes openly on the product page. It has a collar that stays flat after 50 washes because the interlining is woven canvas rather than a fusible web, and it costs less than half of what the worst value on this list charges for the privilege of wearing a crocodile, a pony, or a Medusa on your chest.